was just gonna say, I have seen through the years that sometimes you cater to the customer too.
Yes,
you
I'm
know.
glad you said that. So cater to the customer. So what do you mean by cater to the customer?
Well, for example, if, let's say they got a car seat in the back or something like that, and that they're looking for safety and all too. Does your car have ABS? No, I don't have ABS brakes on that, or you got
Yeah.
the curtain airbag, no, I don't have things like that.
So what I think that they both brought something up now to where I want to talk a little bit about WordTrax and my cookie recipes first. Okay, so when it comes to WordTrax, everybody always thinks Chris wants it to be real stringent, the WordTrax sensei, and then I've got all the different WordTrax people know I study them in the morning and that type of thing, right? And I study them really hard because the discipline of studying them really hard sets me free to use them in different ways and to be able to use situational humor and make it a lot more fun and just make it a lot more personal. So I liken WordTrax to this. So WordTrax I liken to a cookie recipe. So my grandmother, she made the best chocolate chip and oatmeal cookies. And I know you think your grandma did, but you're wrong. My grandma did. All right, so she made such good cookies that I asked her for the recipe. And I didn't just ask for the recipe, I asked for like the ingredients, like the brands. Did you use Lambert's butter? Exactly. And so when I make those cookies, or if I give somebody the recipe, when you make those cookies and you follow the recipe to a T, the cookies taste exactly the same. They do, they taste exactly the same. But if I left out, if the cookies called for 2 sticks of butter, 2 sticks of butter, and we only put in a half a stick of butter, would the cookies taste the same? No, they would not taste the same. So the key thing is making sure you get the butter, the ingredients in there. The butter in there is 1 through 10. There's some little things that help us setting the parameters on the 1 through 10, which he did. He said showroom ready, right? Setting the parameters, but the 1 through 10 is butter. The declined services, going to that, asking about the declined services, that's some of your butter. The exogloss teas, some of your butter, right? You want to hit that point. The you fix, we fix, that's your butter. However, he did it a little different way. Okay, he did it a little different way. He made a little bit of a joke. You made a joke at the one point about your car's complete junk, and then he laughed, right? So the shortest distance between a stranger and a friend is humor. Okay, and it's situational humor works really good. So here's what I want to tell you about the cookies. Okay, the cookies, you got to follow the recipe and you got to make sure you put the right amount of butter. However, there's things you can put in cookies that sometimes can enhance the cookies and sometimes can take away from the cookies depending on the person. And that's where you all come into place, because good salespeople, I've realized over the years, they're good at emotional intelligence. They can read a room pretty good. They can come up and figure the situation out fairly quickly compared to others. For instance, if you guys had a really good joke and you were walking into this wake where it was completely quiet and silent, I don't think you bust into that joke, not right time, not place, right? Maybe afterwards, the party where everybody's had a couple drinks after the person's passed and we're all celebrating, that might be the time for the joke, right? But not at that particular moment. So here's what I've got. I've got something called, those of you that have heard this, I've got something called nuts and raisins, okay? So sometimes you can put nuts or raisins in cookies and it makes them better, but it depends on the person. If you put raisins in my cookies, I will punch you in the face. I do not want raisins in my cookies. I can't stand it. But I would go with some nuts. I like nuts. So that would actually enhance my cookie experience by the nuts. So your emotional intelligence, it's up to you to know when you put a nut in and when you would put a raisin. So for instance, if I've got this older couple and I'm trying to get them to come out to the appraisal with me, I may change my vernacular a little bit different. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, will you please escort me out to your vehicle so we can make sure that you guys give me as much information so I can go ahead and relay that information to my manager to give you the top dollar for your vehicle. Versus somebody that's a little bit younger, I'm gonna say, hey brother, come on and take me out here. Let's go show me this car, kind of sell it to me so I can sell it to my boss, okay? And so I might change it based on that situation, okay? So there's nuts and raisins. You guys need to be careful with them, know where to put them, know when to put them, but make sure you guys always know where the butter is, okay? So always make sure you put the butter in. Nuts and raisins you can sprinkle throughout. Could possibly enhance, okay? So that's the chocolate chip.